Most computerized machines these days come with a built-in mending stitch, but shh, you don't have to tell anybody that it does. So let's keep the mending stitches to ourselves. If you need to do it, I'm going to show you how easy it's done. And remember, tell people it's really hard, and maybe they will feel guilty and not ask you to do it. So here we go. Menu A of the Husqvarna Viking Designer Brilliance 80. Stitches number 23, 24, and 25 are all designed to be just that, the mending stitches. So I'm going to start off with stitch number 23. On the screen, you are noticing that the dot, the starting point, is in the upper left-hand corner. So let's say we do have a rip in our fabric. You do need to have something underneath it or behind it, some iron-on interfacing, another piece of fabric. You can't just stitch through a single layer with part of it opened up. So make sure you have the right item behind the fabric. So if I do have, in here, I'm going to just kind of draw my rip for today. If this is my opening, okay, I am going to need to start kind of in this upper left corner. So a little bit before my rip or opening is, and then I'm going to be able to travel down. Now the cool thing is that you do see the reverse button come up with this stitch. That's this button here. So when we get stitching and we stitch the first line of stitching, it's going to come down with the left needle position. And when I get past my rip, I'm going to touch the reverse button. The reverse button will then have counted how many stitches I have taken. So if that was 10 stitches, then it's going to go 10 stitches back, 10 stitches forward at each of the needle positions until it reaches the other side of the foot. It does have foot B as the recommended foot. The opening, or people always ask, well, how wide is this? Well, it can only stitch as wide as your foot opening is. So we'll be starting on the left needle position, doing a line of stitching every single opportunity until it gets all the way to the right. After that point, if you have not covered up the opening you're trying to secure, then you're going to just go ahead and do it again. So keep going until you have covered it. So what's really nice is if you do match your thread to the fabric, this is just like recreating the fabric. It actually does it really quick, really easy, and it makes it look very professional. Before I get started, let's just take a peek at the other options here. Is stitch number 24 is more of a open version of it. It does not travel back, but it can take a lot of loose ends and actually kind of contain them, make them stay in place. And then 25 is actually a combination of both the zigzag back and forth, kind of help it hold it all together, and then what I just described of the back and forth. So let's see it in action here, where we're going to start and how it's going to look when it's done. So from the little area I drew out, I'm going to put my needle down or just start stitching, okay? And then as I sew, oh, I left it on the last stitch. Let's just go ahead. Well, here, let's do the last stitch. So it's actually going to go back and forth first, okay? So it's traveling kind of that, holding it all down. The reverse button is still on the screen. Here we go. And so when it gets to the length that I want, I'm going to touch the reverse button. And then it's going to start going back and forth, starting with the left, but it knew how far I had traveled forward, so it's actually quite smart. So again, if you only needed a little bit covered, you could stop in the middle. If you need to get all the way across, let's just go ahead and let it finish out. It's taking the fabric forward and back. And again, remember your stabilizer is key here, and we are good. So it stops, locks. We can use the thread cutter. And again, if I needed to come and do it a little bit wider, that I could just do it again. Now you usually see that the stitches will kind of go at an angle, and that is correct. That is truly how this will be designed. Again, your stitches or thread is going to match your fabric, but that is kind of a way to make it so it's not all at the same grain line when it finishes. Actually, angle is best. So I know people always ask, well, why does it do that? Oh, it's supposed to do it. It's okay. All right. So again, if I need to start, overlap a few stitches, start again, and you can mend up anything and everything that has holes in it.